Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
This is Ito.
And we are the Carbonation Conversation, reviewing Hot D, House of Dragons, Episode 2,
The Rogue Prince.
And before we get into it, we do have a big favor to ask. Damn, I barely see myself even notching on this motherfucker now. But
We're so loud.
Let me calm down. Before we get into it, we would appreciate if you guys start liking our videos and definitely commenting if you have an opinion. Just because the Podbean, YouTube, and Facebook algorithm, it's kicking our ass.
Yes.
I literally searched House of Dragon episode 1 reviews on YouTube, and I was scrolling down so much until I found us. I know we're not that popular on YouTube yet. And Podbean, though, it was the same thing. So the algorithm is really, really kicking our ass. And for Podbean specifically, I believe it's the followers and the liking as well. But if you can always, hit that follow whenever we post something, you'll definitely get it. And we do see our followers increasing. And for those who have added, we really appreciate that. But we definitely are asking, and we would really, really appreciate it if you take the time to like and subscribe, whether on Podbean, YouTube, or Facebook. I'm not finna list any of those other social medias, although we do appreciate you listening on those platforms. It would just be a long list. And we want to get into it. So with that said, Happy New Beer.
Happy New Beer.
We're drinking some, and I don't want to be the guy that says it, but is it Hogarden?
Yes, it's Hogarden.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So it is Hogarden. We are drinking some Hogarden Belgian wheat beer. How is it?
It's good. Had it before.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, cool. Good shit. And first response. How did you feel about episode 2?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Any complaints?
No. I mean, I guess maybe wasn't much action, but I'm not. To me, it's to be expected. I see we're still learning the characters.
Yes,
getting build up. So I'm not surprised with that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think to be honest. I mean, I have any complaints. I mean, as far as like me being upset with characters, you may hear that, but other than that, I don't have any complaints. So far, so good. We're kind of staying the course here. We have PTSD when it comes to Game of Thrones, and those last 2 seasons. It's just kind of like, okay, we're staying the course.
Like episode 3, someone gonna die.
Oh man,
someone gonna die. Episode 3.
We'll definitely get into that. So I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked of you on episode 1. How we gonna do this, G? Are we just going front to back, or are we just talking about certain characters that will get into the episode? Like, how do you have it?
I think I got it broken by certain characters and certain situations, really.
Okay.
Like I started basically. This is 6 months into. Yeah. 6 months after the death.
Yep.
Of his wife, and making Rhaenyra the heir. Yes. And the advisors are now expecting him to remarry.
Exactly. And what I will say to this, I did not know this because I rarely do research when it comes to like showrunners and producers and things that they say. But they're basically saying every episode is going to be a time jump. Episode 3 is going to be a year.
Oh, really?
Time jump. Yes. I try not to watch the the trailers for the following episodes. And you might just cut that shit off real quick.
Yeah.
And by the way, I see HBO doing podcasts now. I guess that's just a fucking thing now.
Right.
Fuck you guys.
I saw that too.
But
like, what the heck?
I know. It's just like, tune into the House of Dragons podcast. I was just like, damn, okay, so they just doing it. They just doing it all now, which is pretty cool. To hear from the characters and all that stuff, but it's just like, we want you to listen to the Carbonation Conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck that. But yeah, so this is, like you said, this is 6 months after. I guess we assume that King Viserys and Alicent have their bond has just been getting closer and closer, because it does open up with him describing Valeria. You know, he has the whole, it seems like the whole area of Valeria in stone or whatever you want to call it. And be
like the model of the city.
Yes, the model of the city, and he's, you know, basically,
or some Legos, you know.
And basically, it was something, and you know, he's basically talking about, you know, she kind of asks him the question of, do you ever think we'll get to this height again? And he's like, there were 1,000 dragons during that time. 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to be close to the volcano because apparently that's where they got their powers. And he talks about blood mages and all of this shit. But before we get into that, I gotta ask you, my dude, how did you feel about that intro?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bro. I was like, because when I got it, I was like, oh my fucking God. I was passed out. I
think of that song, so I was like, Melvin's gonna pass out.
Oh man, I was just like, oh my God, man, that theme, that original theme.
They said, why change the music? They're like, it was so epic, why change it? You know, and I agree. I like it. Yeah. It mess if they change it with some corny shit. So
I know, that's why, because I didn't see it the first episode, so I mean, obviously you kind of heard it in the background when you saw the dragons and all of that stuff during the first episode, but it was kind of faint. But this one was like, nah, we bringing it back. And I don't have any, to be honest, I don't have any detail. I wasn't able to kind of research. The only thing that it did seem like the intro was breaking down the lineage, like from Jaehaerys to Viserys, you know, all that stuff. So that's what I think when you saw the blood spread, and then once the blood hit, the things kind of turned. I thought that was pretty fucking cool myself. But I was just like, oh, I am never gonna skip this intro ever. But okay. But okay, let's talk about Viserys and Alicent, just because, you know, they're the first people. We could talk about their relationship.
Well, yeah, if you don't. Yeah, and of course with her father Otto's encouragement, because he basically wants to put himself up.
Yeah,
his family line and shit like that.
Bitch ass motherfucker.
Yeah, so during the meeting between the council, this is what they're talking about, him remarrying. Yeah, and this is when Lord Corlys basically offers up his daughter.
Yeah,
him and Rhaenys, right?
Yeah, I think her. Him and Rhaenys. Yeah,
Rhaenys. Yeah.
And I mean, he does do, you know, after, you know, because during the council meeting, Corlys does come and he's pissed because there's 4 ships that got seized, one with his banner, so he feels personally insulted. The Stepstone is like a place, I'm assuming, within the Free Cities. And even as the show opens, we see the terror of what this motherfucker is doing. Like, he is, like, they're in low tide, which basically means when the water comes, they drown, but also the crabs come.
And they're eating that.
And they are just, I was just like, oh my God.
And one guy was still alive.
Oh my God, that was so fucked
Skin
up.
Skin torn. What a scene. Yeah.
It was pretty fucked up. So he's pissed off. He's asking them to do something. And that is when we see, and obviously we're going to be kind of all over the place on this. Yeah. We do see the dismissiveness that Otto and even Viserys at sometimes has towards Rhaenyra, because Corlys wants something done. He's just like, bro, the realm is watching. You don't got a wife right now, and you're just letting these motherfuckers over there in the Free City just run a wreck, basically.
Yeah, you having a female as your heir makes you look weak, and they might do something. You know?
And then you hear Otto saying, just because if you sit in this motherfucker's council does not make you his equal. It's like, you know what fans are calling Otto? Middle finger. And I feel like that's appropriate, because he is playing, so far, the first 2 episodes, him and his daughter are the best at playing this game right now. I mean, my God. But yeah, he's a dick. Oh, yeah. He's an asshole. And
I still can't believe it's that actor.
And we see where Rhaenyra is saying, like, why don't you just go over there with these motherfucking dragons? Like, it seems like when they're talking about conflict, they're like, what are we going to do? And then it's like the common sense thing. You got dragons, my dude. You got fucking dragons. But he doesn't want to do it. The king doesn't want to do it. Obviously, he does say in the future when he's talking to Corlys that, hey, you know, the king's job is to prevent war, not start it. But we see fucking Rhaenyra saying, like, hey, bro, why don't you bring the dragons over there? Otto, bitch ass, goes, maybe her talents can be used
elsewhere or some shit, yeah.
Bro.
So they basically sent her with the knight to go pick the next...
one of the next King's Guards. Because
right.
Sir Harold is now the commander of Saram. Has died. It's 6 months later. I'm assuming he was old as shit, probably, and he died, so they need to replace him. But how do you feel about like the game that Otto and Alicent like? They are in it to win it, and she will do anything her fucking father says. It seems, right?
That's what it seems like. You know, if you want to just finish that part, basically saying, we see him go on a little date with Corlys's and Rhaenyra's daughter.
Yeah,
and it's just hilarious. She's a little 12-year-old.
Yeah, and like you said, like Corlys and Rhaenyra was just like, hey, and it does match perfectly here.
Yeah, mix of the Valyrian blood, with the Targaryen blood,
and the Valyrians are the most richest. Like, they're like the Lannisters of this age. Right. They're the richest house. They have the most ships out of any person, and they basically rule the sea. They call him like the sea. I think it's a sea snake. I think that's what they call Corlys. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what they call him, the sea snake. And so it would match. You know what I'm saying? That would. When Rhaenys and Corlys was talking to Viserys, they made a lot of fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? They were just like, hey, you rule the air, we rule the sea. We're the richest fucking, basically, I guess, I don't want to say country. We're the richest city.
But it was such a creepy ass moment seeing him with this little 12-year-old.
Man, she was asking him about dragons like my son
He
would.
felt uncomfortable. You know what I mean? That was the crazy part.
Now, I will say this about Viserys. Is he the Ned Stark of this? Like, you're doing what's right. Like. Well, I would say, he ends up marrying Alicent. You know, he ends up at least saying that he will be choosing her, but she's like 15. 3 years apart. Come on now. Obviously, it's tradition. It's back in the day. It is what it is. But it's just like, I have this issue with, marrying a 12-year-old, but let me go ahead and marry this 15-year-old. I gotta say it.
Of course, of course, but that's at that age where puberty hits too.
Yes.
So that 3 years makes a big difference.
Yeah, especially back in those times.
Remember, look at this Tantino this past year, my nephew.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you can even see the little girl. I think her name is Lena or Lena. She's asking questions like she would a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, how was it to ride the biggest dragon? They do mention the other dragon, Vhagar, that was just so big that it just couldn't fit in the pit.
He was, the largest and oldest dragon in Westeros, and basically he's missing.
Yeah. And
you just know, like, oh, he's going to show up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I swear I thought that was the one that maybe she was supposed to ride. I mean, I remember listing off the dragon names, and I don't have my old notes because I usually toss them motherfuckers and throw them away after. But I was like, I know she rides the biggest and oldest dragon now. And I'm like, does that mean, like, she will tame that, or will that dragon come and like recognize her? Like, I don't fucking know. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't fucking know. But yeah, in the midst of the king and Lena talking, he definitely because she's just like, I will give you plenty children. It's just an awkward ass thing. Your father tell you to say this? Like, it is an awkward scene. And he's just like, what did your mother tell you? And she's just like, that I wouldn't have to bench you until I was 14. I was just like, oh my fucking God. But again, this is what it was like back in the day. Like, and this is probably why so many fucking women died.
Yeah, crazy.
getting pregnant like at 14 to 16. Like, we don't even, some of us, we don't even condone that shit now. Some of us. But yeah, like, it was just very awkward, like you said, and you can see Viserys go.
Right. Like, one of those moments.
Oh my God. Who else do you want to get to?
Well, just the fact that after he did, say he chose Alicent, how both Corlys and Rhaenyra like stormed out.
Yeah.
So, because that's her best friend and stuff, and she knew nothing about this even from Alicent.
Yep.
And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Corlys is pissed, so he takes off. So we go into Daemon. Basically, has taken a small army, which basically was the city's wife, and takes over Dragonstone, which basically is where the heir is supposed to stay, right?
I believe so. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The king, they just ignore him. Just let him be. He's mad, whatever. And then until basically the keeper of the dragons comes and says he stole a dragon egg in the middle of the night. And
right there, and that was another thing that Corlys had an issue with. He's like, bro, you letting all this shit go crazy, and you let your brother take over Dragonstone untested for 6 months. Like, how does that make you look? And like you said, Rhaenyra is like, which dragon egg did he take?
Right.
The one for her dead brother, infant for a day, or king for a day, heir for a day. Sorry, but yeah, and so the king at this point is like, I'm about to go over there, and he does even tell Corlys, because Corlys is like, bruh, do you see what's going on here? It's like, what would you have me do? Send him to the wall? Or put his head on a spike? Like, he loves his brother Daemon.
Yes,
he does.
Yes.
And you can also see by the end of this episode that Daemon loves him too. Like, they do have a mutual respect for each other. But the king wants to go there, and Otto was like, no, it's too dangerous. Let me go.
Right.
And they go.
Obviously, we forgot to mention.
Go ahead.
We forgot to mention that we did say that they took Rhaenyra to go pick the next Kingsguard. We didn't finish that part.
Yeah, we did.
So,
go ahead.
It was like a couple people came up, and they told us their attributes or whatever. But then she asked, "Who has been in real battle?"
Yes.
And the only person that's been in real battle out of all the candidates was Sir Cole.
Yep. Cole.
And that's the guy that won the tournament who beat Daemon.
Yep.
So she's like, I choose him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Otto was like, well, these other guys, they families have good names and they could come in and handy with things. And she's just like, that's the only person that's been in real battle. Everybody else are just going in competitions. Wouldn't you rather a king be guarded by someone that's experienced?
Yes. And what's interesting is, I will add to that, Otto does say, because it's two houses, it's Kraken and Mallister. For whatever reason, I thought it was Sir Alistair Storm from the wall, but it was. I was like, is that his family? But it's not. I assume he was talking about the Kraken family, just because Kraken is like sea fish-ish, and he was like, they're the ones that help us with the Reavers, with the ones who kind of get off of a boat. I'm assuming this is what they do. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments so we can get some interaction. But I believe the Reavers are the motherfuckers who just come off of boats and just basically try to take everything, try to take women, try to just, take as much as they can and then bounce. Yeah. And he was trying to explain to Rhaenyra that, you may want to choose this particular house because they are the people who protect us on the outskirts in the Iron Islands. But like you said, she was just focused on somebody protecting her father.
Right.
And obviously, Otto is an asshole, but he does make good political points.
Good political points.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, it's just kissing ass, basically. Sometimes you have to kiss ass. That's all.
Basically, and because then that's actually, you're absolutely right about that, because when it comes to like power and over 10 fucking families, you gotta make them all feel good or they're gonna feel slighted. and they're gonna do something against you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting Otto's response to her. But yeah, she does pick cold.
Yep. So real quick, Happy New Beer.
Happy New Beer.
So we get to Dragonstone.
Yes.
Badass scene on the bridge or whatever. That shit was badass. I love the background. She was beautiful.
It was fucking cool as hell.
They come up, Damien comes out with his little army and stuff, and basically says, I plan to marry my area.
Yeah.
You know, she's going to be my second wife, and she's with child.
Yes.
Type of shit, and this is for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, she's not actually pregnant, right?
No, she is not.
So that's why she walks off.
Yes, she's pissed off, about that.
But they show up, even everybody pulls their swords. Then fucking Damon's dragon pops out. What's the Damon's dragon's name again?
Caraxes. And it's so interesting between the dialogue because before Otto left, we saw the king really wanting to go there to talk to his brother. Otto said it wasn't a good idea, so Otto left. Right. Otto meets Damon. He says, "Do you think the king would come for a mama's farce?" Like, he's like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? He's like shitting on Damon. He's just like, "Hey, bro, if you want to make a move, but you're going to be making the move against the king and us." And he, Otto is at this point on his high horse until Caraxes comes. And then he remembers. Like, people fucking forget.
Then
the dragon.
Then Cole treat Damon real quick too.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did. He's like, is your name Sir Kristen? Sir Craxton? And then he's like, no, Sir Cole. If you would remember me because I unsuited your ass on that horse. Right. And he's just like, and I was starting to. It's so fucked up because I heard, I haven't read the books or anything, but I heard Damon. He's a pretty bad dude. He's starting to give me fucking old boy vibes from Jaime Lannister vibes. Like he does have a claim and he is right. He even laughs at it. He's like, oh, you got me. You got me there. You know what I'm saying? So, basically, they unsheath swords. It seems like it's about to go down. And even Otto's saying, you rather like your whore, because he's just shitting on her.
Oh, yeah.
Like your fucking whore. She's a whore. Right. and David, you know what I'm saying? He's just like, so you rather just all them die? And he even questions the gold cloaks or the city watch at the time. Like, hey, y'all really prepared to do this? Until Caraxes' ass shows up. And Caraxes' ass, and then Otto, I don't know how you can forget, but then he asks his age. He's like, sheathe your swords.
Yes.
Sheathe your swords. And then you hear something else in the sky.
Through the clouds.
Oh my God, that scene.
That was badass.
It was fucking badass, man. And we have Renaria come down. And she basically talks to her uncle one-on-one. Otto does not like this. He's going against it. And he even tells like his guards to take her back at once. And she's just like, so y'all know, Cyrax, which is her dragon, is a little bit really close to me. So I wouldn't fucking, don't touch negative. Then they have a discussion, her and Damon. And she's just like, I'm right here. Bruh, like, you're in a place where technically it's mine. And as far as your wife, and that's when the wife walks off, she's like, your wife is pregnant. He's like, one day. And then she just walks off. And she's just like, bro, all your problems, all your issues, I'm right here. If you want to fucking end this, kill me.
Yeah.
Smart play, dumb play.
Yeah. No smart play, I think.
Yeah, and fucking he's, I guess he relinquishes, he gives her the egg.
That wasn't the play he expected.
Yes.
He didn't expect her to show over her dragon. And maybe his brother or something, but not her.
Yeah. And, you know, he gives her the dragon egg. By the way, I would love one of those replica-ass dragon eggs just because they look so fucking cool with the scales on it. It just looked fucking badass. I would like one. But yeah, and, you know, he tosses her the egg and he goes back. And this is the first time you kind of see when he goes back. And, by the way, Rhaenyra gives Otto this look like, I just saved your fucking life, bitch, because your ass would have died by dragon fire. All of you guys would have. But we do see Daemon go back, and how do you pronounce her name? Because I was pronouncing it Mysaria, and I said when you pronounce it as a different name, I was like, oh shit, maybe I've been Myeria. Yeah, because it's like MYS. I don't fucking know. Anyways, Myeria does have this conversation with Daemon, but you also see Daemon just kind of like he's vulnerable at this point. But she tells him like, well, y'all motherfuckers playing this type of game like I'm just a whore. Like,
I just want to get out of that life.
Exactly.
I don't want no baby.
You know what I'm saying? He's like,
whoever said I was getting pregnant.
I will say this: did you see the Easter egg in that scene?
What was it?
Do you remember the knife that he pulled out and placed on the table?
No.
This is the same knife that got Tyrion into trouble in the first season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they had sent an assassin to kill Bronn after he got injured. That's the same knife. That's the same knife that killed Littlefinger. Arya had it at the end of the series. Yeah, same fucking knife.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah. Valerian steel.
Yes.
But yeah, we do see Daemon. You know, he's kind of questioning. At least he has this look like he's questioning everything that he has been doing. Who we want to talk about next? Who we got?
We could talk about Rhaenyra going back home and when the father confronts him. I heard you went over there with the dragon.
Yes, and I'm also glad that you brought that up because Alicent is kind of playing the game between them. She does tell Viserys, the king, that he should step up and talk to his daughter about the situation.
Right.
And then we also have her also telling the same thing to Rhaenyra.
Right.
So before, I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. Before we get into that confrontation, they actually do have a dinner scene.
Yeah.
Where they're chilling, eating, and you know, she tells him that, you know, she gave Sir Cole Knight of the King's Guard, and he's kind of pleased with that. And even before they even start talking, he's just like, it's open, like you can talk to me any type of way. Right. But when she brings up the fact that she thought dragons should go to the free cities, he's like, bitch, shut up. He's like, you're young. Know your fucking place. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, damn. All right. Okay. Like, I thought this was a safe environment, King.
Right. Yeah, apparently I think it was more about like family shit. And dealing with the death of the mother and him remarrying.
Yes.
That was the main thing of that.
Yeah.
And she kind of like basically gave her blessing. I'm like, I expect you to.
Yeah. After she comes back, you know, he says, "You're my heir. You know, you shouldn't be doing this. What if you were killed?" And then they actually start to talk about marriage and how he loves her mother so much, and you can really see that he does. Like, I'm telling you, this actor for Viserys may be a dumbass king, maybe not fit for being king, but goddamn, his portrayal of the King Viserys is awesome.
Definitely.
But yeah, anything else you wanted to add to that scene?
No, that's about it. Like I said, then when she tells him what happened, you know, at Dragonstone and stuff. First he's all mad, and then he goes, well, you know,
you remind me
so much of your mother. I was like, really? Just turn like that, Jesus.
Yeah, like, man, when it comes to family, Viserys is trying to keep the peace. It's so funny because when he met with Rhaenys and Corlys, when they were trying to approach him about the later thing, he's like, oh, my favorite cousin, technically. Targaryen, that's your only cousin alive. So I just wanted to throw that out there. There's no one left. Viserys like, what the fuck are you talking about, favorite cousin? But yeah,
you got a shout out for anyone yet?
I you know what? I do have to give my shout out to Corlys on this because I do feel like he is justified. I do feel like he was slighted in this. So yeah, I would do my shout out to Corlys on this one because I totally understand.
Yeah.
You know, I totally fucking understand.
Well, it's perfect because it's going to lead up to basically the end of the episode. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Corlys so upset with the decision that Viserys did, he decided to join forces with Daemon.
Yes. And I do love that fucking scene. Shout out. I do love that fucking scene. But I do want to go back when, after obviously he's talked to Corlys and Rhaenys about it, he does talk to two other people, technically three other people about it. What the? I'm sorry, I have so many fucking notes, I can't remember this guy's name. When he's speaking, because first he talks to Otto and the Maester about the offer that Corlys and Rhaenys approached. And Otto automatically is like, oh, he's speaking out of turn. But the Maester, because he's neutral, you know, this is the scene where he's like in the maggots. By the way, he keeps getting injuries from the throne. That's what these injuries are. Okay. I don't, you know,
that's crazy. Yeah,
House of, you know, they haven't stated it, but the back is from the throne and the pinky is from the throne. And there is a saying that if you keep getting hurt on the throne, you are not meant to be on the throne. I will say that. But what about that magazine when they had them put in their hand? It's like, I didn't, you know, it's like, yeah, I've heard that. I mean, obviously from the last Game of Thrones season, well, maggots will only eat the rotting flesh. Yeah. They won't eat anything else. And they can stop, you know, corruption, which is infection. So if you ever have a little injury, you know, we can always go get a cup full of maggots.
Nah, I just go get some antibiotic cream.
But yeah, he does talk to the Maester, and the Maester's like, hey, bro, that would secure the realm. Like, that could work out. And Otto's just like, well, you know, he says something very specific along the lines of, you know, when my wife died, I really didn't want to remarry, and I'm not, you know, and luckily I'm not the king. You know, I don't envy you in this process, which makes the king think of Otto's wife, which makes the king think of Alicent constantly talking about her fucking mother. You know, there is a scene that we did miss in the beginning where they break the fucking little dragon toy. Oh, I shouldn't say toy, but you know, the dragon toy that they break, and then she comes back saying, I had the people fix it, Your Highness. And he's like, oh, thank you, I really fucking appreciate it. So Otto knows what the fuck he's doing, because he can't flat out and say, no, they're wrong. He's just like, well, you know, when I was thinking about my, I would hate to be you in your shoes making the 12-year-old like, bro. Okay. And then he talks to, cannot find the fucking name, even though I wrote it down somewhere on these fucking notes. But he talks to one of his other council members. And he asks his council member, what do you fucking think I should do? And even the council member says, you should go ahead and do what Corlys and them want, because that will secure the realm. Yeah, she is young, but she will come of age. And now, I forget where the fuck we are because I'm a little buzzed. And now,
at the end, you went back like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I have to go back. You know, yeah. I did go back. Yeah,
we're at the end.
Yeah, okay. So back, obviously, when they announce, you know, when the king announces he's marrying, like you said, both of them left, and that causes Corlys to talk to Daemon, and that's where we are. Go ahead on this.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, I had to set the stage.
We went past that.
Yeah, I mean, I to set the stage. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck that guy's name is. But go ahead.
I mean, I said earlier, he talked to Damon, and they teamed up, and basically to stop the crab feeder at the Stepping Stones. That's the main thing. He's gonna dig that. So we know that Damon's gonna go through there with the dragon.
Yes. And yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is, because he does, you know, he gives a little whole speech about, Valeria, it's possible that we were even the first ones, but we weren't dragon riders. And, you know, he kind of, tries to manipulate Damon. I do love the fact that Damon was like, I can talk about my fucking brother any way you want. I want to. But your ass need to tread the fuck lightly when you're speaking right now. But he does say, we've been playing second fiddle. We were pretty much, that's what Corliss says. We're kind of fucking second fiddle here.
I think it's funny how scene starts with Corliss, saying what he wants to say, and you don't see Damon yet. But you know it's Damon, and how the music comes on, and when they show Damon, come on, really?
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little corny.
Yeah.
I was just you knew the whole time it was Damon.
Yes. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the conversation between Rhaenys and Rhaenyra. Yeah. I think that'll pretty much wrap this up here. Rhaenys does say, like, hey, look, you don't understand duty and what needs to be done. Of course I fucking feel uncomfortable that my 12-year-old daughter could possibly marry the fucking king. But, it's the duty. And you don't seem like you're into that shit. And Rhaenyra is like, hell no, I'm not into that shit. Right. She's like, you are the queen that never was. They bent the knee to me, bitch. Fuck you. And this is what I was telling you about episode 1. Like, I think it's obviously now we know it's probably going to be some fucking conflict. But
yeah, you would think just because they're, two women, two females, that they would be getting along and maybe trying to work together. But if anything, Rhaenys is jealous.
I'm pretty sure she is.
You know what I mean?
And that's understandable.
It's understandable, but you think, but now you would be like, fuck it, let me fight for her. I couldn't do it, so let me vote. Let me be on her side. But apparently not.
It takes a selfless person to do shit like that, bro.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
so that's how you know.
Even these days,
and that's how you know what kind of person she's supposed to be.
Yeah, and and she basically tells Rhaenyra, like, the men would want to burn this whole shit down before they let a woman go to be on the throne, and don't think that if his next wife don't have a son, that the realm won't claim him as the rightful heir. Exactly. It's almost the same type of shit that Daenerys told Jon Snow when she was like, please don't say nothing. Please don't say nothing about your history. They will love you more. They already do. And he was just like, I'm gonna tell him. After she gave him that, like, come on, bro. Like, come on. But the only other thing I wanted to mention other than that was two things. First thing is, I think it will just be so convenient, and I say this with knowing what I say. Fucking Rhaenyra and Rhaenyra and Daemon, they should just marry each other. I mean, Targaryens are known to keep it within the family.
That say that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would solve. I mean, obviously now we know.
But it's still like, you don't want to see that.
I mean, well, shit. I mean, that's just what the Targaryens do. Even fucking him and Lena, they're like fucking. That's like his fucking niece, first niece. You know what I'm saying? But they have Targaryen blood. You know what I'm saying? Even if he did make the right good choice, which we both agree was the right choice, it would still be like fucking your first niece. Basically. That's what it is. But all I'm saying, the reason I'm saying is because Targaryens are known to do that.
Of course, I know that.
But it's nasty.
But still, exactly.
The other second point I wanted to mention, I fucking forgot because I'm bust. Oh, who do you think's gonna die? Episode 3. Because you was like, somebody gonna die.
Somebody's gonna die.
Who do you think it's gonna be? Because if it's true what they say, it's a year apart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're probably gonna see the battle on the Stepstones.
Yeah.
Is Corliss gonna take the L?
I don't know. I don't think the king just yet.
Yeah, I think he may die towards the end of the series. It would be crazy if he dies fucking episode 3, bro. It would be fucking chaos.
That's the first person that came to my mind, but I was just like, maybe not yet.
Fucking Renee. Go ahead. But okay, all right. I was just curious who you thought. You gonna put a name to it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Corliss.
Right.
I think Corliss because I'm pretty sure if they go to war,
I'm gonna go King V.
Well, all right. Because the only reason I'm saying Corliss is because if he is leading the battle with Damon, he's gonna want to go there. He's gonna want to take his shifts there to make a fucking point. Do we think Allison is gonna survive the series?
No.
The first one? No. At least the first season 1?
No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
She's already chewing her fucking fingers off.
Bro. And her father was even like, why are you doing this? What is she chewing or picking them? I was like, what the fuck is that?
She's just going all around.
Oh my god.
There's no more nail to bite, so she's biting skin.
Fucking god. That is just, that looked more nasty than the crabs. I was like, stop it. I digress. Anything else? I think we good, right? We good. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
This is Ito.
And we are the Carbonation Conversation. If you like what you hear as far as the music in the background, if you like the audio editing, which you will never hear, which is a good thing, don't hesitate to hit up Mobeats89. Check all of his shit out on all platforms. When I say this, you won't be disappointed. And if you want to hit him up directly for any fucking thing, just add a Gmail at the end of that shit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. And I am here enjoying this whole garden.
You whole garden.
I am here enjoying this whole garden with one of my best friends. Happy New Beer.
I finished mine.
Oh, fuck. I should have left that other one out, right?
Weakling.
Well, all right. But one thing I am not doing is drinking and driving. We are only
drinking and vibing.
Peace.